Ethan.
I haven't seen Claire for 6 months. Missed you like crazy, babe.
Honey, I've missed you so much.
Calm down, Claire. At least let me take a shower first.
Honey, I can't wait to see you turn into a beast. Ethan, let's have a baby.
I've been away for 6 months. She didn't care about me at all. But now, the moment I'm home, she's desperate for a baby. Of course, if that's what you want. The very next morning, I installed cameras at home. On the surface, the credit looked normal. But my job is a risk consultant, and I'm an expert at finding hidden loopholes. There's an emergency at the company. I need to fly to Chicago.
Honey, you just got back. You're leaving again?
I saw right through her act of pretending she didn't want me to go. So I dragged my suitcase to a short-term rental. Over the next few days, Claire acted completely normal. She went to the gym, cooked, and went to bed on time. I almost thought I was overthinking it, until one morning a week later, Claire suddenly put on a red dress and left. I followed her. I followed her all the way to the mall and watched her buy steak, wine, and candles. She was clearly getting ready for a date. An hour later, Claire came home. I hurried back to the car and sat down. Then I turned on the home security feed and kept watching.
You're still 3 hours away? That's okay. I'll wait as long as it takes. Drive carefully. I made your favorite food.
3 hours later, the doorbell rang. Claire practically ran to get the door. The man outside was her company's partner, Mark Reynolds, the same guy who'd been aggressively promoting her. She took his coat, and he slid his arm around her waist like it was the most natural thing in the world. In that moment, I was this close to charging upstairs. But then, Mark kissed her, and they stumbled into the bedroom.
Don't worry. When the baby's born, Ethan will believe it's his.
My wife is sleeping in the same bed as her boss.
Kiss me, Claire. I've been dying for this.
Take it easy, Mark. We've got all the time in the world.
I didn't rush home. I didn't make a scene. I just sat in the car, watching the footage over and over, watching Claire smile as she opened the door, personally leading Mark into the mansion I bought. That's when I finally understood. This marriage was nothing but an empty shell, and she still wanted to use a child to bind this lie to me. Security company called back, but nobody answered. Jina no toder suchu patrol when come lai follow fawan. Neighbors stood in the hallway, filming and whispering to each other.
Isn't that Claire's boss? Wasn't her husband just out of town?
When the police knocked on the door, Claire opened the door with wrinkled clothes and a face gone pale. Mark stood behind her without saying a word. But what made it worse was that a neighbor recorded the whole thing. The video was on social media within minutes. Mark was a partner at a well-known PR firm. Claire was a senior project manager the company had been pushing hard. People figured out who they were fast. I just stared at the screen, cold and silent, because I knew the real reckoning was only getting started. Just as I was about to go pick Claire up, her mother suddenly called. After my wife was caught cheating on me with her boss, the video spread across social media. The second her father saw it, he had a heart attack, and I deliberately waited until midnight before I went to the station to pick her up. Right before pushing the door open, I immediately put on an anxious and restrained expression. Claire was sitting on a bench in the hallway, white as a shield. The moment she saw me, she froze, then lowered her head, not daring to even look at me. I didn't lose control or yell at her. I just walked over and took her hand.
Claire, what did I fail to give you? Or did our marriage never matter to you?
Her lips were trembling, but she couldn't say a single word. You don't have to explain yourself to me, but you'd better think about how you're going to explain this to your parents.
Your father had a heart attack after he saw the video online. They took him to hospital. They're trying to save him.
All the color drained off Claire's face. I held her up and put on the last bit of dignity a husband was supposed to have. Don't just stand there. We need to get to the hospital. Claire, are you pregnant? Her whole body went static. She turned towards the window. Her silence was the cruelest answer. Until there's a paternity test, I won't acknowledge that child has anything to do with me. The moment we got to the hospital, Claire's mother apologized to me. I didn't blame her. Instead, I took care of the emergency room bill. I spoke with the doctors and booked a nearby hotel. The more gracious I was, the more ashamed Claire became. Her mother finally couldn't hold it in anymore, cried and begged her mother to forgive her. But this time, no one stood on her side. Near dawn, Claire's father was finally out of danger. I bought breakfast and took Claire away from the hospital. She thought I was going to soften again. But she had no idea. Everything I did wasn't forgiveness. I just wanted her to see, with her own eyes, how precious the life she destroyed really was. After my wife cheated on me, the first thing she said when she saw me wasn't an explanation for what she'd done. She broke down and begged me not to leave her.
Ethan, I really messed up. Please give me one more chance.
The second those words left her mouth, I could barely hold back the anger in my eyes. Claire, wasn't the life I gave you enough? Or was there some way I failed you? Was that worth destroying our marriage?
No, it wasn't. I just made a stupid mistake. I swear it will never happen again.
I let out a cold laugh. Right then, promises were the cheapest thing she had left. I travel on business all year around, and she never lacked suitors around her. But I didn't expect her to use loneliness as an excuse and paint betrayal as a temporary loss of control. Claire cried even harder and wrapped her arms around my legs.
I'll quit tomorrow. I'll cut Mark out of my life for good. Just don't leave me.
I pushed her away and slowly raised my hand. Claire closed her eyes in fear, but she didn't move. Her face was full of despair and regret. But just before my hand could fall, I gently touched her cheek. Baby, how could I ever bring myself to hurt you? Even after what you did, I just couldn't do it. She froze. The next second, she threw herself into my arms and completely broke down.
Ethan, please. Can you forgive me? Don't give up on me. From now on, we'll make this work. We'll have a good life together.
She thought I'd softened, but I only patted her back, my voice so gentle it sounded unfamiliar even to me. That depends on what you do next. The thorn in my heart won't come out that easily. Claire immediately nodded. She thought that because I hadn't mentioned divorce, there was still a chance. Carefully, she took my hand and led me towards the bedroom. But when my eyes landed on that bed, I suddenly stopped. The thought of her being intimate with Mark there made the anger I'd buried start burning again. Every time I look at this bed, I see the moment my wife betrayed me. Claire seemed to realize it too. She pulled away from me right away.
I'll have it moved out right now.
I turned around and walked out to the balcony. Half an hour later, a moving crew showed up with a whole new set of furniture. Almost everything in the house that hurt to look at had been replaced.
Honey, lunch is ready.
I nodded without saying a word. Then we went to see Claire's father. She'd upset him badly enough to land him in the hospital. I knocked on the hospital room door before I pushed it open. She thinks going in might only make things worse.
So now she knows what it means to be scared.
I didn't answer. I just set out the coffee and sandwiches. Claire stood outside the door. She looked in, but she still couldn't make herself step inside. Belle. She doesn't even have the nerve to come in and face me?
She's right outside. She's afraid seeing her will make you angry.
He closed his eyes, and his breathing got heavier. He lifted his hand and stopped me. Bring her in. I walked out and brought Claire into the room.
Dad?
Don't call me Dad. Claire broke down and apologized right there. I froze. For a second, I didn't know how to react. Good. He had pushed me into doing it on purpose. He knew how much resentment I'd been holding inside. He thought the only way this marriage could still have a chance was if I finally let all that anger out. Claire's cheek began to swell. But somehow, Claire shut her eyes and bit down on her lip. She didn't dare make a sound. This time, my hand stopped in midair. Looking at her swollen face, I finally forced the anger back down. Dad, that's enough. She knows she was wrong. After we left the room, I took Claire to have the injuries on her face treated. Then I made sure she had a full examination. Blood work, a pregnancy test, nothing was skipped. She knew she had to prove she wasn't pregnant. When the results came back, I flipped through a few pages and tossed the report to her. Come on, let's go home. A small light immediately returned to Claire's eyes. She thought that because I was still taking her home, I had gone soft. Back at the apartment, I sat on the couch and started writing my resignation email. Claire kept moving around the room, cleaning everything up. She barely dared to breathe. She brought me a coffee, then glanced at my screen and saw the resignation letter.
Ethan, are you really going to quit your job?
I looked up and gave a cold smile. Not quit? Or should I wait until I'm away on another business trip so you can bring another man back into our home? Turned red and swollen from the slap. A flash of relief crossed her eyes, because she thought my reaction meant for vigor. I was quit my job and stay home, which meant I still wanted to give her another chance. It didn't take long before my supervisor called.
Ethan, I saw the news. You don't need to quit. The company can put you on leave. Handle the divorce first.
I looked up and saw Claire in the kitchen, chopping more slowly than before. Sorry, I'm not getting divorced. The other end of the line went silent. After a long pause, my supervisor finally asked in Spanish.
Are you sure? She humiliated you like this and you still want to stay married?
I looked at Claire in the kitchen, and the corner of my troth slowly listed. She was my first love. I still can't let her go. Then I ended the call. At that moment, the chopping in the kitchen grew notably lighter. Claire thought I'd gone soft, but she had no idea I'd said every word on purpose for her to hear. Then I opened my phone and pulled up last night's video. The comments were full of hate. Some said Claire slept her way up with her boss. Others called Mark out for abusing his power. Seeing that, I finally felt at ease. After dinner, I drove alone to the hospital to bring my father-in-law a meal. On the way, I opened the feed from the cameras at home. I saw her sitting alone on the couch, hugging her knees. Her phone gave off a faint glow reading something. She was clearly a moment she covered her face and broke down crying. I knew she had seen the videos and the comments. But this was only the beginning. I didn't divorce Claire right away after she cheated on me, because I realized that for Claire, divorce wasn't the cruelest punishment. What would really break her was making her think I still loved her, making her believe she still had a chance, then watching everyone slowly push her toward the abyss. Her? Fine. As long as Claire didn't walk away on her own, I wasn't going to let her go. Because if I divorced her, how would I make her pay back everything, little by little? That evening, I went back to the apartment. The second I opened the door, Claire stood up from the couch. The swelling on her face hadn't gone down yet, and her eyes were puffy from crying. She wanted to explain, but I walked straight into the bedroom. I started packing a pillow and a blanket.
Ethan, are you moving out?
We should sleep in separate rooms. I looked at that bed. Every time I see it, I think about what happened that night. I need some time alone. Claire froze. In the end, she could only nod. Holding the quilt, I passed by her and suddenly stopped, reaching out to gently touch her swollen face. Does it still hurt? Go to sleep now. We still have to pick Dad up from the hospital tomorrow. Hope lit up in Claire's eyes. She thought I still cared about her, but she had no idea. I only wanted her to remember who gave her those 2 slaps, and I wanted her to remember that the debt she owed me was only just beginning to come due. For someone who betrayed a marriage, the scariest thing isn't getting kicked out of the house. It's still living in the house, but no longer being the woman of it. Every little thing Claire did to please me reminded her that she had already lost completely. A little after 5 the next morning, Claire was already up. Lying in bed, I heard movement coming from the kitchen. The corner of my mouth slowly lifted. Looks like she finally learned how to please a husband she's about to lose. By the time I came out, breakfast was already set. Claire stood by the table, nervous like a waitress. I took one bite, and she immediately leaned in.
Honey, is it okay? Does it taste all right?
I didn't answer. I just nodded. A pleasing little smile immediately appeared on her face, but inside there was nothing left except coldness. After Claire rushed to clear the dishes, I just took my glass of water and sat on the couch. On the way to the hospital to pick up my father-in-law, Claire sat in the passenger seat to say yord. She dared to steal glances, pretended not notice, and kept my focus on driving. The moment we arrived, my father-in-law saw Claire, and his face darkened instantly. I handled the discharge papers for him. Claire tried several times to help, but each time she reached out, he coldly stopped her. She stood there awkwardly, like an outsider. My mother-in-law wanted to say something for her daughter, but one look from my father-in-law shut her down. Watching all of it, I felt nothing but irony. This was the price of betrayal. That's what betrayal costs. Even her own father no longer wanted to speak for her anymore. After we got back to the apartment, Claire became even more diligent. She swept, mopped, and wiped the windows, not daring to let herself stay idle for even a moment. I sat on the couch watching TV. She deliberately kept passing in front of me. I knew she was trying to make herself seen, trying to show me she had changed. Not until she started wiping the floor by my feet did I finally speak. Take a break. You're about to scrub a whole layer off the floor. Claire froze for a second. Then she smiled. But even as she smiled, tears started falling again.
Honey, you're finally talking to me. I've been going crazy these past few days.
I didn't respond. I just got up and went out to the balcony for a smoke. Go ahead and cry. This is only the beginning. The best way to make someone who betrayed you fall apart isn't to force her to admit it. You give her a little hope. You let her think you're still willing to start over. Then you let her say it herself, how she destroyed the marriage, one piece at a time. So that night, for the first time, I was the one who opened the wine. Claire got up right away to get the glasses. Her eyes were full of surprised gratitude. After a few drinks, she finally relaxed a little.
Ethan, I'm so sorry.
Let's not talk about the past. But wine has a way of prying open people's mouths. With red eyes, I asked her, I just want to know. Claire's face went pale. I raised my glass with a bitter smile. How did it start between you and Mark? Forget it. Don't answer. But instead, she broke down. In broken pieces, she told me how Mark took care of her at work, how he crossed the line, little by little, and how they finally made that mistake at a hotel on a business trip. My chest was tight, but my face showed nothing but understanding. If you say it, we can start over. Claire threw herself into my arms, crying so hard she could barely breathe. Over the next few days, Claire tried even harder to please me. Breakfast was ready early. Dinner was always kept warm. Then I told her that after quitting, I didn't have any income for now.
There's $8,000 here. Use it for now.
I took it without hesitation. Consider that the first debt you owe me. She nodded desperately, even looking grateful. That night, she hugged me from behind.
Ethan, I'm scared. I'm scared they're all going to talk about me. And I'm scared that one day you'll leave me too.
I just said calmly, as long as you do as you're told, I won't leave you. She clung to me like someone drowning grabs of driftwood. She didn't know I had thrown her that lifeline on purpose.